Episode of How I Discovered My Gift with yours truly, David D. Simons. I'm excited and delighted to share with you today on this solo episode about the topic, failure doesn't define you, it refines you. So let's look at the definition of failure. It is an act or instance of failing or proving unsuccessful. Keyword, it is an act or instance of failing, of proving unsuccessful. Another definition is that it's the non-performance of something due, required, or expected. The non-performance of something due, required, or expected. So in these two very definitions, you see that failing or failure is an act. It's not an entire thing. It shouldn't be an entire way to classify a person. Nobody's a failure. You don't have to be considered a failure. It's also what's interesting about in the very definition of failure is that you have to be performing to be able to fail. So it's the non-performance of something due, required, or expected. Meaning, if you don't perform, you can never fail. You can never succeed because performance is in failure, performance is in success. So if you have to perform in anything you have to do, which we all do, the failure act is a non-performance of something. So it tells us in the definition of failure that a person that fails is actually performing. Okay, now I want to get into some quotes that are powerful. We're just going to unpack a few of them, and then I'm going to get into some failures, and then we're going to really just dive into this thing. So first quote is that it's impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. This comes from J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter book series. I love what she said, that you're not living if you're not failing. Because in my mind, failing is trying. It's actually doing the work, right? It's trying and doing something. I like what Michael Jordan said. He said, I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. So that kind of correlates with my definition as well. We think of one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and arguably one of the greatest athletes of all time, letting us know that cannot accept not trying. What is it in your life that you feel like you're failing, or you've allowed failure to define you, when really it's there to refine you? And trying is a proof that you are getting better. It's failing is really just trying. And we just changed that definition in our mind. I like what Thomas Edison said. He said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. In the book, Think and Grow Rich, there's a story about 3 feet from gold. I'm not going to break down the whole story, but just know that the person had gold right near their house and they went looking all over the world for it. How many times do we give up right before our breakthrough? Whether in business, a relationship, in your health, your finances. These are things that we have to constantly think about, that what if you just give it one more try? One more try. You can have a better result. John Maxwell breaks down that the difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and response to failure. Wow, that's powerful. And the response to it. So how do you perceive failure? I perceive it as trying. How do you respond to failure? I perceive it as refining. And when you change your mindset in that capacity, it's hard not to have success inevitable for you. Bill Gates said, it's fine to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure. Everybody fails, in case you didn't know this. But not everybody sees failure the same way. That's the difference. John F. Kennedy says, those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. Boy, oh boy, I've failed miserably in so many ways. So I'm going to tell you about some recent failures in my world here. I recently hired someone the past year, and we weren't quite ready because we didn't have the proper, I guess you could say, transitioning for this person to pick up the pieces to do certain things. And they did some things really well, and other pieces were just not done. And I want to say easily that this hiring mistake, we're a growing business. This hiring mistake probably cost me at least $50,000. This one hiring mistake. And I'm not talking about the money that was paid out. I'm not including that. I'm talking about the problems it created because we didn't have the right pieces and right systems in place. So I can see why HR and all these pieces are important, and getting, knowing people are in the right roles. I'm not going to go into deep detail into this because I got other failures I want to talk about. But essentially, I learned that, hiring even if they're the right person, but for the wrong role, can be very, very costly. And it's not easy. But I've had to go through that failure. This is recent failure. So, I'm being very transparent. I've been working on my weight and dropping weight and gaining weight. I'm working on improving my weight, and it hasn't been easy, right? It sucks when you're doing discipline and you look at the scale and it doesn't show your discipline, or you didn't do the discipline and you look at the scale and you're dropping weight and you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and then you blow up, right? So I have been dealing with issues of growing, losing weight and gaining weight. I'm in the process, but I'm trusting the process. I got some great coaches, and they're helping me in this process. I've also had campaigns as a marketer that I thought would do extremely well, and they didn't. That always sucks, especially being a marketer, right? Here I am, a marketer, helping other people market. So it's tough because your failures are public most times as a marketer, in marketing and things of that nature. But you got to keep pushing. You got to keep doing it. I've had events that failed. I've had campaigns that failed. I've had ads that failed. I've had just everything, offers that failed. But that's how we get better. And it's hard. It's hard, especially. That's why I feel sorry for athletes. A lot of times, is like their failures are so public. Not everybody's failures are public. We're celebrities. We all have failures, but not all our failures are kept in the public. I've purchased programs that I thought would bring me a great result, and they didn't. And I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. And it's especially when you put in all the work, excuse me, and you don't see the return or the effectiveness of that. I've done that so many times. I've purchased so many programs, and some of them were good, some of them were duds. And it doesn't mean I stopped buying programs and coaching. No, it doesn't mean that. You got to keep pushing forward. I've also failed professionally, personally, spiritually, in every way that you can imagine. And what's cool about that is that it's actually led me to become a better leader, a better person, a better family man, a better man of God. Every aspect of my life has become better because of those failures, because failing is trying again. So let me define refine. Refine means remove impurities or unwanted elements from a substance, typically as a part of an industrial process, right? So removing impurities from gold, removing the impurities on a diamond, improving something or making small changes. Second definition, in particular, make an idea, theory, or method more subtle and accurate. So refining is improvement. Refining is removing impurities. As I shared with you earlier, that the definition of failure is breaking down how it is an act or an instance of failing, and then the non-performance of something expected. So as you're trying, guess what's happening? You're removing layers off of yourself. You're removing those impurities. And at the same time, guess what? Whatever you're going towards, you're getting better. You're improving. You're seeing it in a new light. You're getting better as a leader, as a businessman or woman, as a speaker, as a coach, as a podcaster, right? Whatever it is for you. For me, my life has been riddled with what some would call failure. I don't see them as failures. I'm just gonna go through my timeline very quick, and then I'm gonna encourage you to just allow failure to refine you. So after getting expelled from high school, I was refined by becoming a more focused student. I became a better student. As you imagine, as you get expelled, I don't have time to go into the whole story. You can go back to episode 0 or 1 to hear that whole story. After almost getting a felony, I was cautious with who I surrounded with. So I started to learn the lesson of the importance of who I surround myself with. And I worked on aspects of my character. I improved my character. After getting on academic probation in college, which was miraculous, I got into college. I understood the importance of doing work that I actually loved and the importance of passion. That's what changed my major to help me become in digital media, which led me to the trajectory I'm on now. After I nearly had a traumatic weed smoking experience, I gave my life to God. And that allowed me to deal with all the parts of me that needed further refinement. Like lust and lying and becoming a man of prayer and discipline instead. And so many flaws and character things that I had to work on. And I'm still growing and still working. I'm still shaving stuff off. God is still revealing things about me that I need to improve. Like today, I'm being refined in management. God is showing me how to manage things better, manage people, manage finance, manage gifting. And I'm working on that. We're dealing with that. Refinement is never done. So it's not a process of, oh, I've arrived. It's a continual process. After applying for over 100 jobs when I graduated from college, I had to, I graduated in a recession. So nobody would hire me. I made a move to all the way to New Jersey at the time. So that refinement produced in me a desire and a will to win and a will to push forward and persevere. And I just don't give up. I don't care what you throw at me. By God's grace, I just don't give up, right? And I think these two things go hand in hand, failing and never giving up. After getting my dream job, I worked there for 4.5 years. I learned that you get what you ask for, and I was let go from my dream job, right? But sometimes you get what you ask for, but not always the way you want it. I learned that principle, and these things produce a better entrepreneur and leader in me. After starting my business and learning all the things that it takes to grow a business, in my 1.5 years in, for me at the time, it was a lot. I think it was about $16,000 in unpaid invoices, and I didn't know how I was going to get through. And I persevered and learned to tap into the treasure within, that I had ability to produce and create my way out of problems, like meaning creating solutions, creating offers, creating programs and courses. That mindset helped me to refine. So today, I'm constantly refining myself. And I just encourage you listening to this, that you don't allow the failures you've experienced to define you. They're not allowed to define you. You get to decide, is this going to refine me or is this going to define me? So remember that failures do not define you. They refine you. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode.